Mercy Alive. Hey, appreciate everybody coming out. I'm excited to talk about FilmQuest. Let me just jump in real quick with FantasyCon. One of the things we wanted to do is make it different than any convention that has been done before. And the way that we did that is by focusing on the artwork and the artists that are shaping our culture and shaping our society. We wanted to have a different focus, and we wanted to make it really interactive. And one of the key ways we did that is by making things within our convention that people can actually participate in. So rather than be a spectator, you can actually get involved. So little kids can become the dragon warrior, or they can become the princess hero in our dragon training arena. You'll see live blacksmiths forging steel, glass blowers doing their crafts. And anyway, a lot of exciting things and a lot of ways to interact. But one of the things we really wanted to do is do a world-class film festival. And as I was looking into that, I quickly realized that I love movies, and I'm a huge fan of the talent and artistry that goes into them, but I have no idea how to run a film festival. So as fate would have it, I was over at a buddy's office, and he introduced me to Jonathan Martin, and we hit it off, I'd say, pretty quick. We liked each other. I left for a little bit, and I said we should meet another time. And I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, there's something there with Jonathan Martin. He's just a quality fella. And I think we met, what, like a couple days later, maybe?
Actually, we met that afternoon.
I was just kidding. I was just kidding. It all blends together.
Yeah.
Thanks for the correction.
We did meet a couple days.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So anyway, we met later that day, and I just said, you know what? You're the guy. Let's build this film festival. And for the first little while, I was really involved. I wanted to pay attention, and I would say within less than 2 weeks, watching Jonathan's passion and his understanding of film, and really his love of filmmakers themselves and the artist, and seeing how much he cared about making sure that they were represented properly, seeing how much he cared about making sure their films received the proper exposure and attention they deserved, I quickly stepped out of the way and said, you know what, you need to take point on this. From here on out, I just need to do whatever I can to help you, because you're going to do a much better job of this than I ever could. So everything that you see, from that trailer behind you to the quality of the artwork sitting behind us to the amazing, amazing statue that Jonathan will talk more about, it really all comes from him. I mean, the only credit I can take is finding a really amazing person that has a lot of passion for film. I would say he is one of the most passionate people, not just about film, but again about filmmakers and about Utah, and bringing a quality product to the state and making sure that people get the recognition that they deserve for the films they produce. So I'll just hand it over to Jonathan, and he can go from here.
Thank you very much. So the question is on hand, so what is FilmQuest? And FilmQuest, first and foremost, is a festival for the fantastic. FilmQuest is a festival that celebrates genre cinema, so sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and the fantastic and the beyond. And if you really look at the box office today, 8 out of the 10 top films every year are basically fantasy, sci-fi, or fantastic-based films. And so there's obviously a hunger and an audience for these films that goes beyond just film festivals. It's in the pop culture subconscious. And so as Josh has already alluded to, FilmQuest is a film festival first and foremost about the filmmaker. But also at the same time, it's a film festival about the audience. Too many film festivals, I don't know if they get this ragtag spirit, but they want to put it in an indie theater where there's gum on the seats and on the floors, and you might see a cockroach here or there, but it's, that's fine and that's all good, but we wanted to present the best world-class that we can for what we consider to be world-class films. There's a lot of misperceptions out there about what an independent film can be at a film festival, and they can be great. As we've already mentioned, we have an Oscar-nominated film called Death of a Shadow that's playing here. We have an Oscar shortlisted film called The Landing out of Australia that's playing here, making their Utah premieres. We also have a Palme d'Or nominee that's playing here called Arc from Poland. And these are films, they're not necessarily subtitled. Most people foreign now do their films in English because it gives them a bigger audience and a bigger market. And so we wanted to really showcase this market. And as Josh mentioned, we wanted to create a film festival that filmmakers would want to be a part of. As a filmmaker myself, I had a film and I was fortunate to play at over 100 film festivals with it just a couple of years ago. And toured the whole circuit, and I got to see what made a festival great, and I got to see what made a festival really bad. I had the pleasure of having my film viewed and do extremely well on the big screen at Mann's Chinese Theater. And then I also got to see my film played from a laptop with the sound coming out of the laptop speakers in a hotel back room. So I've seen, you know, which actually was a great audience that watched it, but I still saw that. And so I've seen the good and the bad and the extremes. And so that was something I really wanted to avoid, and to bring something world-class to Utah, something that we could all be really proud of. And so part of doing that was, first of all, I have some friends and some connections, so I brought in a celebrity panel of judges. We have Doug Jones, who's most notable for Billy Butcherson and Hocus Pocus, playing Pan and the Pale Man in Pan's Labyrinth. He's also Abe Sapien in Hellboy. So kind of the Boris Karloff of modern cinema. And then we also have Amrita Acharya from Game of Thrones. We have Damian Clark, who just won the equivalent of Oscar for video game acting as the voice of Handsome Jack in Borderlands 2. And we also just brought aboard David Farland, who's the New York Times bestselling author of Star Wars: The Courtship of Princess Leia. So they're going to be judging some of the films actually this week and getting back some of the winners for us there. And then also we talk about these awards and whatnot, and one of the key components that we felt that we believe is something really to get excited about that's extremely unique here for Utah is the FilmQuest Cthulhu Trophy and the award here. And you could definitely get some pictures afterwards and definitely get to hold it and touch it to feel the heft of it. Extremely high quality award, and to give you some of the details on this, it stands 12 inches tall and is about 3 to 4 pounds. Made of pure pewter and is of a brushed silver. The company that made this award is Society Awards, the same company that makes the Golden Globes and the Emmys and the ESPYs and the MTV Movie Awards. And they're so impressed and in love with this trophy that they're actually going to have this on display at their own, at their conference room right next to the Golden Globe. And so it was also designed by a local Utah artist, incredibly talented, named Ryan Peterson. And Ryan worked with Rick Baker for a number of years. Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, there you go. Oh, man. All right, we still good there? Yeah, we good? We keep, okay. And then Ryan Peterson, he worked with Rick Baker, and Ryan actually designed the creepy baby in Benjamin Button. He, in Men in Black, he did Edgar, you know, whose face is falling apart, and he pulls it back, and he starts turning into the bug. He did that actually for Rick Baker. And he also conceptualized and helped design Beast for the X-Men movies. So these are some of the things he literally did that we see today pop culturally. So he designed this award, which is Cthulhu from H.P. Lovecraft fame. And Cthulhu is the cosmic god. He haunts your nightmares, but he was also the perfect symbol of dark fantasy and horror and sci-fi, all encompassed in one. And so it really is a work of art and something quite beautiful. And we're going to be giving these out to the winners of the awards at the festival. And already, that's what's helped us to get, in a first year, we got 500 film submissions. To give you a perspective, Screamfest, which is the #1 horror film festival in the world down in Los Angeles, California, gets about 1,000 submissions a year. So in only taking 3.5 months of submissions, we got 500. That's actually unheard of and unprecedented for a first-year film festival. So imagine with the great quality films we've already got, what we're going to be getting next year. And it all begins now by building it and everybody rallying and getting an audience and people excited about it. And then also, we also have, obviously, the filmmakers that I mentioned. We've got over 50 confirmed filmmakers or films represented from out of state that are going to be sending representatives out here for the festival itself. Again, that's a hugely unprecedented number. Unless you're a Sundance or a Tribeca or a Cannes, a festival's lucky to get just a dozen filmmakers out for it. So already we've hit a subconscious vein here, or a conscious vein, I should say, of people that are just excited about this, and it helps to begin with the award and the show that we're putting on, which is part of our unique partnership with FantasyCon, which gives us access to the celebrities and really gives the filmmakers access to them and to the events that are going on. We have an opening night party. We've got joining with FantasyCon for the Elijah Wood hosted party and DJ set on Wednesday night, and then we have other events as well throughout the week. We've even done a few other things locally before I pass on here to Marshall Moore, who sits to my right, and he's the director of the Utah Film Commission. Is basically, we also have the FilmQuest Express competition, a competition to help get people involved locally with the festival. FilmQuest Express gives filmmakers, not too dissimilar from a 48-hour film festival, gives filmmakers a week to make a 5-minute fantasy film. And then we also have, with Aerostorm, we partnered up with Aerostorm, the top local producer of independent and fantasy films and adventure movies. And we have a screenplay competition by which our top 10 finalists, Aerostorm will look at those films and they will pick up to 3 of them to just go into discussions with filmmakers about producing and going into production with the films. So that's a really, really big deal because we're talking about bringing work and jobs and films into the state. And that's kind of begins here with FilmQuest. We're actually making an economic impact and creating jobs, and this is just the beginning of what we can do and will do. As we mentioned, we have some of these local sponsors, and such as the Film Commission and such as Aerostorm. And then finally, to talk about real briefly, is that some of these notable films are going to be shown, and we talked a little bit about some of these celebrities. We have The Landing from Australia that is shortlisted for Oscar. We have Death of a Shadow, which was nominated for an Oscar out of Belgium. We have The Visitant, which stars Amy Smart and was produced by John Heder and directed by the local, Nicholas Peterson. We also have a feature film called Crawl Space out of Australia, which got the director Justin Dix a 3-picture deal with Fox. We have a great film that we're premiering called Echoes. And we also have several great films. I could keep going on. In fact, another film that I'm really quite excited about is a film called Lessons Learned, which is produced by Jim Henson's daughter and is a Dark Crystal style puppetry film, and was actually directed by a guy named Toby Froud, I believe, or Frood, and he is actually the baby from Labyrinth, and he's coming out to the festival. Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, there's some celebrity star power for you. No, and so we're gonna have some fun with him. And this is just the beginning. We got a lot of people going on, and in fact, as we mentioned before, Sylvester McCoy is going to be coming out to hang out at the festival. Doug Jones, he's going to be around for FantasyCon, just like Sylvester McCoy, and they're both starring in films here at the festival. We got a lot of people that you would recognize in the films that you're going to see. Maybe not so much by name, but you would definitely recognize them from major roles that they've played in major films. And so it's something really, really exciting that is just the beginning of what's going to be capable and what we can do. And I think it's going to be a really good ride and a good show. And so I'm going to pass it on to Marshall real quick, and we'll let him have his spiel.
Oh, great, thank you. Well, I think, thanks Josh and Jonathan. I think you can really see how invested Jonathan is, and that's, he did all that from memory, of course. All those names, all those films, and that's one of the reasons that I think that we, as a film commission, chose to become involved was his passion and dedication to FilmQuest. I'd also like to thank the Megaplex theaters for hosting not only this, but their continued support of local film and local filmmakers. And they work with us throughout the year on screenings that support and promote films that have been shot in Utah. The Utah Film Commission is well, first of all, before I go there, let me introduce Ricky Flores. He's our creative and marketing executive who's joining me today. The Utah Film Commission is a client-driven agency. We promote and market the entire state of Utah as a film and television production destination. There are currently 5 of us on staff. The Utah Film Commission provides round-the-clock client services. We manage a comprehensive database of film services and a crew directory and a location database with over 1,600 locations throughout the entire state. Since 2005, we have used the Motion Picture Incentive Program to attract over 140 film and television projects to the state, including The World's Fastest Indian, all 3 High School Musical films, the only U.S. episode of the BBC series Doctor Who, the Oscar-nominated 127 Hours, Lone Ranger, John Carter, Granite Flats, The Giver, and the recently released Need for Speed. The Motion Picture Incentive Program has been responsible for over 11,000 production jobs, 6,000 production days, and a little over 113 million in direct Utah spending, which we call dollars left in the state. We work closely with many of the film schools throughout the state in order to continue to build and to rebuild our infrastructure, which is one of the many advantages of choosing Utah is our tremendous infrastructure that goes along with the easy 90-minute flight from Los Angeles to Salt Lake City and even quicker to St. George. 2 full-service grip and electric companies in Salt Lake City, and all types of topography and architecture within 1 hour of an international airport, and over 1,200 crew and support services and talent registered in our film directory make Utah a prime spot, premier destination for film and TV production. And being able to sponsor a festival like this gives us an opportunity to showcase some of our local filmmakers and local films and things that have been going on here, that go on here year-round. We're also the festival host state for the Sundance Film Festival and many other opportunities to help film and filmmakers year-round. During FilmQuest, we'll be hosting a few panels, be moderating and participating in to promote Utah film and the incentive program and the history of film in Utah, and of course the Motion Picture Association of Utah, which moves forward initiatives with our legislature and our governor to improve the conditions of filmmaking in the state.
Thank you, Marshall. Thank you. And you know, to emphasize with the Film Commission, I mean, they really do make filmmaking possible in this state. I mean, they bring in and they create thousands of jobs with their help in facilitating these films to be made here, and some of these high-profile films that he's mentioned. That really not just creates jobs, but creates careers. And I think sometimes we emphasize jobs too much, and careers is a big deal, because that's obviously going to put bread on the table for a lot of years to come. Something I also kind of forgot to mention is FilmQuest is now the 2nd biggest film festival in Utah already. Obviously, we've heard of Slamdance, we've heard of some of these other film festivals, but in the amount of films that we have 195 official selections, plus 18 that are playing from FilmQuest Express, which means we're going to be showcasing over 210 films over the 6 days. And that's significant. That's a significant thing, and they're going to obviously be showing here at the Gateway Megaplex those first 3 days, and we definitely want to emphasize to get people out here, because the majority of the award nominees are going to be playing here at the Gateway Megaplex. So definitely something to get excited about as far as that goes, especially as we grow and move forward. And then we do have an announcement to make in regards to everybody's favorite terrible film that is happening with FilmQuest and in conjunction with FantasyCon. And that is that we're also going to be doing a screening of Troll 2, the worst film ever made. But what makes that significance is that we're also bringing out the entire cast to reunite for the film. And so I don't know when the last time that's actually been done, or the last time that was done in Utah. But that's a pretty significant big deal, because Troll 2 has a massive cult following all over the world. It sells out screenings everywhere. And so we're bringing the cast together to screen Troll 2 and to talk about it and all that. And who knows, maybe they'll talk about other surprising things at that screening. You'll just have to wait and see. And then and come on out for it. And then basically that is the conclusion, I believe, of our press conference.